What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here with part 49 of my Total War Warhammer 3 modded Thorgrim Grudgebearer Old World campaign. So as we saw last time, the Great Grudge, the Thagoraki menace, has been struck from the book. Helpit and SKAVEN Blight have fallen, and Scryer and Molder and the great clans are no more. Eshin and Pestilence are on the way out, and it looks like we are very much underway to getting rid of all the SKAVEN. And essentially ridding the world of a pretty big menace. Though I suppose the way the SKAVEN population works is that if you leave even one warren around, they would just repopulate the entire Ender Empire pretty darn quickly. I mean, considering the losses against Nagash and the war for Cripple Peak and all that. But anyway, in terms of what we got to do this time, I think we're about halfway through the turn, so there's probably still a fair few moves to be made. I don't remember why Joseph is... Oh, right. Right, I thought that I might fight this between the episodes because these guys didn't sally out, and I probably should have, but I guess we can fight it in the field. You know, let's start with this, we'll do it real quick. I imagine that we could just manually fight it. I think that we could just full speed through it. Sorry about this, I forgot it, but, well, no big deal, I'd like to hope. It's not like there's really anything in this particular army that's going to be of any kind of real threat to Joseph of Zorn's army. Although I suppose the elements of the enemy army that can hide from us might still be at least of some form of irritation. But anyway, we gotta get rid of these guys, otherwise Clan Ricket will keep annoying us, or if not us, our nearby allies. Anyway, you guys, let's set you up like so, like so. Wait, are we able to do this? I forget. I always forget. Yes, we are. All right. In some armies, with the Grudge Rakers, you can do it, or with the Drake guns you can do it, but you can't do it with the Iron Drakes and the Iron Breakers, because they try to move behind each other when they deploy. So that's what happens. So that's what I wanted to avoid essentially. Anyway, let's do this nearly there. Then we want to separate you guys. Like so that we can put the Dwarf Warriors in front. Now like so with everybody, you can be behind them, and then we can put the Lord in front. Still gotta properly set this up, otherwise the rats will potentially at least overrun us. I'll put you guys on the flanks just in case. I don't think we're gonna need you, but you never know. And then lastly, the choppers, we'll put you around here. And you know what, you guys can probably move with them. Let's put you in group 1, at least for now. We'll probably change it up as we go. Anyway, you guys can fire, not all of you, but that'll probably change rather quickly. How many artillery pieces do they have? Just the one? Just the one. All right, go. Go. And I would also like to do this. Alright, and these are brimstone guns, so it'll take a little bit of effort, but frankly, well, actually those of our 42 pounders did pretty well, and ooh, even our artillery pieces are firing at it. Good job. Alright, let's set toggle skirmish mode off just in case, because it's annoying. Alright, there we go, artillery pieces out. We don't really need to worry all that much, but just in case, let's wipe out those death globes. In fact, let's speed this up while we go. Alright, we can see our flame cannons flaming away already, and ooh, wait. That's a big old pile of enemies. Let's switch you to targeting them right here. Also switch your fire, and I would like you guys to move right here, and drop a few bombs in the blob. Like so. And one more time. Oh, like so. Beautiful. Alrighty, now move away. Did we kill the death globes? I think we did. Alright, move away from that so that you don't get killed, and back away. Alrighty, and let's try to get back to our line, as we'll need to ballistics calibration everybody up before we reach it. But we can keep the brimstone guns firing. Let's also speed this up a little bit. Let me get a few more brimstone gun shots on the enemy lord before we back away, like so. Alright, speed it back down to normal. You guys have arrived. Let's ballistics calibrate. Nope, let's do it with you. There we go, that's better. Alright, ballistics calibrate. Enemy lord is... well, I guess he's gonna run away, but doesn't really matter. Alright, back. Nearly done now. The choppers, or the gyrocopters, are acting as spotters, and it's working quite nicely. And I don't know, let's... I'm trying to find some targets to actually Zufbar 42 pounder, and it's looking like it's not the most necessary thing in the world. Let me speed it back up. And well, if it isn't an assassin, let's see if we can't Zufbar 42 pounder you. Well, I mean, what? Gyrocopter with brimstone gun, yeah, rather. Alright. Fire on you, you ballistics calibrate, you move forward and get a few more volleys off. I believe there was a reinforcing army, even if it was a small one, and might be better to at least wipe this guy out, the lord of the reinforcing army. Maybe a few of these other units. I don't think they had, no, they didn't, hard to say which of the units were, okay, you know what, he will speed this up considerably, so let's have you do it. Which of the units were from the reinforcing army and which one weren't, but let's find out. Alright, there we go. Close victory, apparently. Those darn 0 losses we took. But yeah, it's the ammunition. Which we did expend, but I mean, these guys clearly had all their ammunition. These guys clearly had all of their ammunition. Probably should have just been reloading everybody with the restocks. But all good. Oh, I wonder why one of the engineers did so much more damage than the other. Gyrocopters are very even in terms of kills and damage, and so are the 2 flame cannons, 1.3 and 1.1k kills. I know that seems like it's a big difference, but they're flame cannons and it's a pile of SKAVEN, so 200 rats here and there really isn't that much. It's less than a single unit of SKAVEN slaves in difference, so, you know. Alrighty. There we go. Quick little fight, just to start the day. We will occupy the place, and Clan Ricket is nearly done for. I did not quick save, but we didn't crash. Good. Alrighty. Haven't been getting too many crashes over the last couple of episodes. You can, I guess, build this up. Oh, yeah, funnily enough, I tried to, between the episodes, trade Swamp Eater Camp to these guys, because we don't want these swamps, and you can't. Maybe we could trade this stuff if we can give it to them. I don't know. If we can't, if nobody can take this, we're just gonna abandon them once the faction is destroyed, because we're obviously not sitting in these swamps. This is not what we came here for. I really wanted to give them to the dead, but oh well. Grimley, you yes. All right, so we had a mini battle, and now we'll have a proper battle-ish against Valkia here. Let's level up Grimley one last time, and let's see, you have all your red line stuff, right? Thunderer, Tactician, and Axe Lord. Thunderer, Tactician, Axe Lord, yeah, that's all you need. And then you have Dewi Firepower, blessed by Grugnian and Morgrim's favorite. Alright, so I guess we could just max out Grimley himself, give him Relentless, speed him up a little bit, Woundmaker, can make him hit a little bit harder. I mean, we could go through some of the blue line, but I'm not so sure that it matters here. You're not going to be encountering too many more SKAVEN or Chaos Dwarfs, I would imagine, because they are nearly destroyed, so those buffs are not going to be super necessary. I guess we could get them brass-lunged, and it kind of bothers me, even though this is a useless trait. It's a useless trait to a complete army, anyway. Let's just get here of the council. It bothers me that this trait is left untaken. And I guess we'll just go for Lord of the Deeps, because nothing else is super useful. I'd rather have the army have some leadership than Grimley, who really doesn't need it. Oh, the Alaric Clanbreaker here has reached max level. Good for him. We will go Blade Shield, we will go Scarred Vet, we will go Indomitable, and we will go Woundmaker. And we have 7 points remaining. Full plate armor is rather useless on Thanes because they have 175, but speed is never useless on anybody. As I've said before, it's my favorite trait. I guess we could go Ancestral Grudge and Resolute and get him a little bit of extra damage, and then go into Deadly Blade. We'll forego charge bonus, but admittedly with the Thanes, it's not that important. You are going to go for Scarred Vet into full plate armor, a little bit better on you than on the Thane. Rune of Sanctuary, and then all of these as standard, and then I guess we'll still take the Rune of Valea. We'll want the Rune of Grimnir, we'll want Relentless to reposition you. We have 4 points remaining, and while we don't care about Ancestral Grudge or Resolute, we do care about Rune of Speed, Rune of Oath and Steel, and Rune of Wrath and Ruin. Oh, and we won't be able to then overcast the Rune of Negation or the Rune of Breaking. Damn. Fine. Annoying. Alright, I should have started with that. That's my bad. Alright, let's do this again. Relentless and Grimnir, and then we'll do Oath and Steel and Rune of Speed, like that. Then we'll do Full Plate Armor, Rune of Sanctuary, Breaking, Fate, Tinkering, and we have 1 point that we could put for 10% figure loss reduction, or another point in the cooldown of Rune of Wrath and Ruin. Frankly, it doesn't really matter. It's good either way. Alrighty, you have Bolt Aura Mastery, and that's the only thing you need, so let's increase your mobility. We should still get your Rune of Grimnir, just in case Apprentice Marksman and emergency stockpiles. I don't see them being used, but, you know, there are occasions, I guess. Hand-loaded, Sapper, and then Overseer. Fortunately, unlike Thanes, and unlike, yeah, there's really nothing else that you need, is there? Nothing particularly useful. Anyway, as I was saying, unlike Thanes and unlike Runesmiths, these guys are not point hungry. And I guess you could just get Specialist. Bare Essentials is not worth it. I don't dislike stock, but I don't like losing 30 armor for it. Especially on a gyrocopter, it really feels like it doesn't, it's not worth our time. Anyway, you can just hold on to the point, I don't care. Sapper, Overseer, just do the exact same thing. Runa Grimnir, you go for Relentless. You're a new guy, so you can actually have Bolt Thrower Mastery to help out. Emergency Stockpiles, Apprentice Marksman, Hand-Loaded, I guess Overseer maxed out, Resolute, Ancestral Grudge, and we need one more point to increase mobility. I did get you increased mobility, right? Yes, I did. Alright, well, that's good enough. You, kill Valkia. There we go. Still a close victory after all that application. Maybe it's Valkia herself making up for the difference. She's got... Does she have a gold shield? Oh, wow, not bad. We do have Shield Breaker on the Grimly Sure Shots and the other 2 units of Quarrelers, Grudge Settler Quarrelers. Either way, quick save and let's get to it. Alrighty, I do think that we will have vengeance here, as Valkia really has no hope. 1, her army is in march stance. 2, this is not a particularly good army composition to deal with Grimly and his focus on those big old quarrels. Bolt throwers, ballistae, etc. We've got Dragon Ogres, we've got Chaos Trolls, all of which have taken some hits. We've split to 4 different targets and with our Bolt Throwers here, and we can see this unit of Chaos Trolls pretty much destroyed. Dragon Ogres and the other Chaos Trolls are down to just below half HP, while Valkia has lost about a quarter of hers. Always loved Grimly's army composition. It's simple, but it's very effective at what it does. And again, a good reason that he's a legend. Anyway, both units of trolls are out. The Dragon Ogres are out. Valkia going to take a few more shots and actually going to start getting close enough for some of our Quarrelers to start firing away at her. But unlike Thorek's army, which is a very much more Quarreler focused, Grimly's is a hybrid army, and it's got 5 of those units of Longbeards led by his personal Grumbling Guard. And the enemy has a little hope of dealing with this. Valkia falls. And her Demon Shield seems pretty darn happy about it. I guess he gets to return to the realm of Slaanesh at last. And there we go. Looks like some of the enemy have closed the distance. Bloodletters facing off against Asgaraz, one of our units of Longbeards, but with the Veneration of Smednir and the magical damage that they deal, they're pretty adept at handling things. I like these Bloodletters. The enemy, oh, that poor Chaos Spawn just manages to close the distance with its Forsaken friends, but alas, it gets brought down and too heavily damaged by the Quarrelers. Ooh, love seeing that explosive Quarreler shot hit the giant in the back to bring it down as it topples, never having reached our lines. The Forsaken being attacked by Grimly and held off by the senior citizens and the King Lun Legion over on the left flank, and it looks like the Forsaken are finding little more purchase than the Bloodletters are. The bounce power has shifted to about 90% in our favor. The Grumbling Guards stay in the center and face off against the Chaos Warriors. A little tougher perhaps than the Forsaken, but their blood will look very nice on our green armor. And it'll match all of the red gems that we've got, so isn't that lovely? Anyway, with that, the enemy army realizes that it has no hope of doing anything whatsoever to Grimly's army. Mostly I just wanted to fight this fight so that, because it was Valkia and she's part of a legendary quest or a legendary grudge, so yeah. Obliterated, well done Grimly, always nice to see you in action. Alrighty, there we go. 6 losses, 0 damage from Valkia herself, who, despite the golden shield, was not quite able to make it through the Quarrelers. And the Bolt Throwers, which did absolutely fantastic here. Again, lovely to see the Bolt Throwers maxed out, because this is technically our Bolt Thrower army, and seeing them bring down Dragon Ogres and Spawn and Valkia and Trolls and the Giant like nobody's business is just great. I genuinely feel like they might be better at it than cannons are, because cannons are also good at bringing down cavalry, and due to their penetrating shots might be better at that than these guys. But these guys are really good at this sort of thing. Good job. Anyway, there we go. 5.5k damage. They, once again, the Bolt Throwers have showed off their niche. Valkia is done, and I'm willing to bet that we won't be seeing her again. She has 1 settlement remaining, her Dark Citadel has fallen, and the defeated Valkia melee attack +2 for Lord's Army. Hey, that's actually nice for the long story shorts and the Asgaraz senior citizens and the King Lund Legion. Good for them. Anyway, we are going to move you all the way up here towards... Wait, can we just... actually might be better to do this. Alright, go right here. Cherno Zavtra will be our next target. And though it is a tier 5, it's not one that matters. And hey, it'll be a nice territory for these Kislevites to hold. They've been barely surviving for too long now. Reclaimer Grimson, I guess we'll send you up to Uzkalak because Malachi wants to go here to wipe out the pits of Uzkalak, and more importantly... Okay, after you take... Really? Really? It's gonna kill off the... Okay, you know what? You know what? You have Axe Lord, right, Mr. Reclaimer Grimson? You do not have Axe Lord. Take Axe Lord. And take Venerate Grimnir. And you know what? Let's level you up. I know you're just a Reclaimer, but it might make your auto resolves a teensy bit easier. Rally, blessed by Grugny, and stand your ground. We should also get blessed by Grimnir because you have Slayer Pirates, unless I'm mistaken. And I guess we'll want Tactician for the... Why do you have Fire and Fury? Oh, you have 1 Iron Dragon. I don't remember why I did that, or it might just be some units carried over from some stuff. Get Demons Be Damned, that'll help. Worthy Foe, I think we actually want this for the enemy ward save reduction. Let's get Death Wish, and I might as well get Demon's Bane. Now how's that auto-resolve look? Really? Really? Still? Okay. Okay. Ain't gonna be that way. Miners! Become warriors. Warriors! They become Longbeards. Longbeards, take the Slayer Oath. No. That should be better. There we go. Alright, just for auto-resolve purposes. It's a Reclaimer army after all. There we go, another Archivist that we don't need. Malachi, you're headed down to the Pits of Uzkalak for 2 reasons. 1, to take out and destroy Valkia for good. 2, to jump towards Carrick Doom. It's been a long time coming. You've had nearly as long of a journey as King Azrael did, but you have nearly arrived at your destination. Malachi returning to where he started the campaign. Alrighty. And Gromby, you're gonna go to Darko Wharf. We have plans for this. Alrighty, Fenark Andraskelson, you were originally up here to deal with Queequel. I feel we have, let's see, 1, 2... How many of these are actual armies? Well, Brock Ironpick, sort of. I mean, yeah, I can. He's an army. It's the minor army. Bernoth Barak is our machinist army. Scav Holdfast is our slowdown army, and then Reclaimer Drakebeard's a Reclaimer. So we do have 3 armies up here. I was wondering whether we should send this guy up here, and I think maybe not. I think maybe we'll send him to sort of guard the edges of the edges of Athel Loren. Go up there then, and then you go up here. Alrighty, so that was Finn and then Ferry Ironpick, who is at last moving to deliver these long-awaited Quarrelers with, or Grudge Settler Quarrelers. Rearguard Asgal, you guys... What are you doing? Alright, so you're just making Reclaimer armies or patrol armies. I would imagine we could probably use another one out here. Yeah, there's not enough with just the 1. Though we do have more on the way. You also have way too many Thunder Barges. I can send Reclaimer... Frankly, this army should probably be split into 2 armies. Only 2 Thunder Barges apiece, or we could just not bother with it because it'll add a little bit of additional admin and we may not want that. You know what? I'm gonna say you move this way. We can always split off later if we need to. I'm actually now thinking, would it be faster to travel in our own territory or an allied territory? I don't remember whether we have buffs for traveling in our own territory. Just in case stay in our territory. Alright, rearguard Asgal, you're going this way. We're just gonna set him up, just park him out here maybe somewhere, because these guys keep sailing over and until they stop. We need somebody to actually act as go figure a rearguard. And after we got rid of them all. Anyway, Reclaimer Guthrie Holdfast, you will need to move to Brockel, so you're gonna go here. We'll see if Mr. Malefac's Putris attempts to attack you. I'm surprised that Conroy Rodsinard hasn't attempted to take this place. Arkandras Coulson. Who are you again? Are you unhinged? You're unhinged. Okay, so you're supposed to go into one of the army with the Slayers and these guys. Speaking of, I would like you to go to Stedham. I guess one minor issue is that somebody needs to deal with Mr. Malefac's Putris. He can't quite reach these places yet. Bugman, I would like you to besiege the Black Pit, because it has a good amount of enemies there, and I would like you to get an actual fight, or an actual fight for the caravan. There we go. We'll never stop being entertained by these guys. Yeah, so you stay there. Reclaimer, get gold. You can take Gorcel with your... You can actually probably go for this place as well, since you're meant to auto-resolve stronger territories. Minus the Thunderers, which for whatever reason, seem to always get ripped apart by the auto-resolve. It's kind of bizarre. Like, why would it always be the Thunderers getting hurt? It ignores the fragile. It ignores the Iron Drakes, it ignores the cannons, it ignores the Iron Breakers, kills all the Thunderers. Why? But I ask again, why? Huh, maybe it's because they're fast? Well, the Dwarf Engineers are equally fast, but they are, with the Dwarf Engineers, the fastest units in the army. The Thane is actually slower, but it hurts the Thane, but doesn't hurt the Ironbreakers. I don't know, man. It's auto-resolve. Auto-resolve is a wacky fella. You can build some stuff before we trade you to the Imperials. Anyway, Bugman, besiege. I guess we could temporarily send you back towards this territory just to meet up with these guys and hunt this guy down. You can still follow Ungrim into the sea afterwards. Not like it's a big deal. And then Thugny of Zorn, I guess you can stay there. Stay there. We might use you as an army, we might send you somewhere, you will figure it out. Oh, actually, I just want to see, what's our global recruitment is like right now? Still taken up. Eventually, global recruitment. Eventually. You, follower Skolson, will finally at last deliver those Grail Guardians. There we go. Now we have Grail Knights and Grail Guardians together with the Slayers, and we could probably remove maybe a Doomseeker unit to replace with a Runesmith, because I do feel like the army does need a Runesmith. And we have enough damage out of the Knights so that we don't have to worry about the other stuff. I'll level you later. Wait, no, this is Follower Skolson. Do we need you here? Well, you know what? We can use him to occupy Delbers without having another army do it, so just go here. Like so. Alrighty, anyway, let's get back to doing this in order, because that was way out of it. Dwinbar Ranulfson, Axe Storm. You are headed out to... Well, I would have really... No, we need you to go up here, don't we? Alright, fine. Go towards Granite Massive. I don't actually care if you march stance, because it's not like the enemy will be able to capitalize upon it. Now, let's see what the orcs are doing before we wipe them out and take them out of the Mountains of Dawn. Alright, after you, sir. That was Dwinbar Ranulfson, a Reclaimer Helldower. You are still traveling to where you can maybe do a little bit more reclaiming. Oh! You know what we could do with you? Go grab Delbers, and we'll see if Mr. Malefac's Putris tries to attack you, but at least this way he has nowhere to run. Anywhere he goes, he will encounter one of our armies. And then we should be able to catch him and destroy him. And in fact, wait, is Festus defeated? Is he's not suffering attrition despite being in March stance. Wait, why aren't you suffering attrition despite being in March stance? You should, because these guys have no settlements remaining. What the heck? And he's not in raiding. Why are you not suffering attrition? I don't understand. I'm pretty sure that's the way it's always worked, so game, come on now. If this was the player, you know you'd be screwing us. King Azrael, still waiting for those tombs to be sealed, so we'll see about that. Yeah, those are the tombs that you came from, sir. Remember your roots. Anyway, Groth Barak, you, I guess, only have one way to go, which is towards Shrunken Head's Idol. Start taking these territories in readiness or in preparation to give territory to the Tomb Kings as we've reached the edge of our southern borders. Occupy, please don't get the plague. The settlement will get the plague, but that one we knew. Alright, and it looks like more of these territories were newly taken by Kugath. Man, it looks like he had just broken through his enemies as he just has a bunch of new territory that is as yet undeveloped. Poor Kugath. He was doing so well, too. When we started attacking him, he had like 20 settlements or something like that. It was a fair bit. Anyway, Morgus and Drenger, you're going to the Howling Expanse, and the last territory belonging to the House of Barak, I believe was there? No, Korak. Okay, I'll get them down one day. With so many additional factions on the old world map, I haven't quite got them all down yet, but, well, it's only a matter of time. Reclaimer Helldower, if we have you besiege, say, you can't reach it. Alright, fine, fair enough. Alright, go here then. Ungrim. What do we have in terms of defenses here? Oh, it's actually pretty good. You know what? Go here. The Black Ark might... Can the Black Ark support you? I wonder. Go here. I'm willing to let them sally out. This is some solid delete Dark Elves. It is still a decisive victory and low casualties. You know, I'll think about it. Let's see what else we have in terms of this turn, and then we'll see what they do. Reclaimer Helldower, then. You can proceed Tar now. And I guess we'll move Thingrim down here as well. Together. As they can take it, and then one of you guys can take Stedham, and the Northern Empire is nearly secure. Oh. This guy might ignore this and go for Dietershafen. Are you at war with the Empire? You are... Yes, at war with the Empire. Darn, I was hoping that if we were to give him Dietershafen, then he would... well, then these guys wouldn't attack it, but we'll see what they do. We can always book it back here, at least with the Reclaimer, with the Hammerers. Anyway, let's keep going. That was Ungrim. He'll besiege, perhaps, if I don't decide to auto-resolve, depending on what else we have. Alaric, you're staying here until Thorik can move. Reclaimer Silverhorn, you are proceeding to Hautmont, and Reclaimer Hammerfist, you will go to Chantillon. Hautmont will not fall because you stopped right before it. Alright, now it'll fall. There we go. Alrighty, and you're gonna do the same thing at Chantillon. A little bit of damage, but hardly matters. And Occupy. I was supposed to raise for some reason. I don't know. I just had the had the intrusive thoughts. Just raise Bretonnian territories. Just build it up. It doesn't really matter, but these are the... Oh, we're actually past the marches of Kuran and into Kuran itself. Well, it's about time that Kuran recovers. I mean, Lewin must feel a little bit jealous that we've been given all the favor to the Imperials. Maybe they should take up worshipping the ancestor gods rather than the lady, considering, I think at this point, we've maybe done more for them than even the lady has. But anyway, Jamek Doomtamer, you're here for one more turn to heal up. It'll allow this guy to recruit a little bit, but I'd wager, past experience suggests that it will not matter. You, Mr. Hera Grundadrak, you're going to land at the wreck of the Claw of Usirian. Good question. Do we land from this side or this side? Any side would be nice.
Leave it to me. It's their doom or mine.
I guess maybe you can only land on this side. Can you attack it immediately? You can. Beautiful. Out resolve. No damage, unsurprisingly. And we'll occupy it for now. It's not territory we're intent on keeping at all. I'm curious as to whether this territory can be transferred to these guys. No. Huh. Yeah, so I guess it counts as not having a border. That might be quite the unfortunate aspect to it, but whatever. You can not go around, huh? Maybe you can land? I guess you can try. Go to sea, follow Amelia's salt spray, and she can't run and get rid of one of your units, but we don't care because you're just a grudge settler army. And oh, you're gonna survive, just barely. The annoying aspect of this is the fact that they might still be able to attack and draw Luther Harkonnen. Well, whatever. Alright, you know what? Just try to land. I don't know if it'll work, but give it a try. Go here, and then land. And then you can still take it. Whatever. I'm not wasting the time to, you know, fight it manually. Yeah, we can preserve the units, but it doesn't matter enough for it to, you know, matter. You can do this. And then you can build defenses for, I guess, whoever we end up giving this to, or if nobody, then we'll just raise it. Oh, also don't collect the income here. Oh, we did not collect the income here. Good, Ruinous, good. Alright, who's next? Gotta move towards that end turn and the inevitable fights. We're gonna fight Scav Holdfast. Alrighty, so you will wipe out the Isle of Grief. Like so. Occupy. And the Pirates of Sartosa are no more, or do they have... I think they're no more. Probably why they didn't attempt to run away. You are going to go in to venerate the ancestors here to decorruptify the place, as we'll need it to... Well, frankly, what we really want is these guys to occupy some territory here so we don't have to hold on to it. If push comes to shove, we'll give it to the lizards. Gotta give it to somebody, because we're not administering more territory. It's not necessary. Let's go for this. Our Drink to Victory also had a minor decorruption buff, but anyway. Alright, and with that, the Pirates of Sartosa should be destroyed. Yes, yes, and we kept Sartosa for ourselves so that our Slayer Pirates, I guess, have something to do. Oh wow, you can reach Spineport? And go here to Spineport. We still have Wulfric the Wanderer to contend with, to a degree. Anyway, looks good to me. King Ezreal, we're past you, sir. That was Zungrim, that was Thugni, Alaric Ranulfson. No, you're staying where you are. We're at nearly the halfway point. Jamak Doomtamer. More Grimtideson. You, I believe, we're ready to besiege your settlement. We'll see if it's a level 1 and thus worth fighting or not. It is... It's got some troops, but it's honestly, it's mostly Nurglings. Compared to the dual Cornate stacks with all elites that we fought, this is kind of pathetic. I mean, we got one good fight out of Nurgle. Since we don't have Siege Attacker in this army, we'll give them the chance to sally out. But if they don't, we'll just auto-resolve them. How about that? They get the chance. They're getting just the one. Also, how are the levels in this particular army? They fought essentially once, so they have the important stuff honored by Grimnir and blessed by Grugni and Hack and Slash. I guess you can get some, you know, buffs for yourself. Probably. Well, you know what, let's go through Hard to Hit into Scarred Vet into Flow of Battle, and might as well go all the way through to Deadly Onslaught. I do like Rune of Grimnir, but the rest of the stuff is just fine. And we do have... We already have sharpened weapons. Alright, we'll deal with the rest later. I don't think it's critical here or necessary or... yeah. Anyway, you are... Grimtideson. So that's you. Besiege. Ulfar Norgrimling. You have nearly destroyed this faction of Chaos Dwarfs, and while I'd love to start pushing towards Dire Town, we can't have them running around here, so move towards them. Looks like you're just... slightly out of range? I can't quite tell. I feel like he's just slightly out of range, but I could be wrong. Yeah. 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 Okay. Well. Oh, you're such a tease, game. Alrighty, that was Ulfar Norgrimling. Alright, so who's next? I really would like to see the Explosion Army do a little bit more exploding, so maybe we'll try to find them at least one more. Fight Oldest Hellhine. Okay, so I would like you to do two things. First of all, take the Stoneclaw Mountain, just occupy it. Quick little auto-resolve. Then, after occupying it, I would like you to summon a Follower Lord here so that you can move and, you know, claim territory at the same time. Repair this. I don't know if we're keeping this, but don't collect the income for now. Anyway, yeah, get a quick little Follower Lord of... We don't have one? Okay, fine. Go for... Do I like any of these? Just in case we end up using one? Not really. Attrition, Chance of Interception... I guess we could do another Zufbarborn or Machinist guy, but... Oh, you have Siege Attacker. You know what, let's do you. And just for the Siege Attacker trait. Could come in handy. And you can be Follower. And you don't get a name. No offense, but followers are guaranteed to get deleted, so... Yeah, as long as soon rather as they're no longer needed. Anyway, Oldest Hellhine, you are going to be followed by... There we go, Reclaimer Gundrickson. You, once again, I so wish that the list wouldn't jump around in the way that it does. I really don't understand why they decided to do it like that. But anyway, you've got places to be, go. And then we'll move Thrund Ulik into your army as you were waiting for it. This army is another auto-resolve army, and it's intended to take capital settlements. Alright, you move into the army.
An artillery train to speed us up.
Thank you. And you know what? Just to get there a little bit quicker, we'll want to get Root Marsher, which we have, and we'll want to get him. We can't get increased mobility because we need the other buffs. All right, fine. Reclaimer Burdrick, you're nearly there. Good. If you're wondering why I'm sending so many armies down here, this is part of our northern Umgi of Chaos grudge, so we still need to, you know, deal with it. Alrighty, so that was Reclaimer Gundrickson. Reclaimer Half-Hand. Oh, Rearguard Half-Hand, you're not a Reclaimer. Why did you lie to me? Oh, right, you're sitting with King Azrael. Alright, that's fine. Reclaimer Burdrick, you're in ambush stance because you're waiting on the orcs, and that's still the case. Ooh, near the end of the turn now. Ulfar Dammon, you have taken the Gates of Jar. And I believe, unless I'm mistaken, there's nothing else to take here. Alright. Oh, well. You're going north then. To help out with these guys, they should fall pretty darn quickly, and to just deal with what remains of the Chaos Dwarfs. Alrighty, that was Ulfar Dammon, who was near the end of the list. Muster the Throng obviously doesn't need to move, or actually does it? Wait. Muster the Throng... No, you don't. Alright. The Throng is being mustered. Alrighty, Ulthar Stonehammer. You are going to go to... What do you have, Reclaimer? Redbeard? Alright, you know what? We'll do this. We'll send you and you both outside of this location. Like so. And then one of you can attack it, and then the other can move to reinforce at Chernozavtra and allow maybe Grimly to move past it to whatever we have here. These guys do have at least one army, but I saw another one earlier, so hopefully that they have... hopefully they have another one somewhere. Reclaimer Barak already checked you. Muster the Throng checked you. Stochel Gundrickson. I believe... I guess the question is, what do we have here? And can Reclaimer Granite Hand auto-resolve it? Probably evolve half of these guys to warriors. Might actually hold the line a little bit better. Alright, let's do this. You guys are going to become warriors, just for the auto-resolve purposes. Let's try that. Beautiful. A couple of miners will die, whatever. This army will be deleted rather shortly. And do that. I don't think I've ever said the word shortly so much in a single campaign. I wonder why that is. Complete coincidence, guys, I assure you. You know what? Don't even go in there. Just start moving towards Fractured Fang, which I imagine you'll be able to take because it's poorly defended, and hopefully you'll have healed up enough by then to do so with an auto-resolve that allows Stochel Gundrickson to move towards Skullsplitter's hold, and Reclaimer Grimson to claim this place. Alright, you go here. I assume this is auto-resolve? Yeah, pathetic. Imric. You had your chance, man. Should have attacked, should have gone for the Dragon Slayer army while it was alone and isolated. You got slayed either way, and that was always going to happen either way, but you still had your chance, man. Alright, anyway, Reclaimer Gundrickson, you will besiege the graves of the dragons. I've been salty about this for about 10 episodes. Or however, maybe even more, I don't know. Whenever it was that Imric took this place right under our noses. Alright. There we go. I mean, it had some okay stuff in there, but obviously it had no chance here. Lovely. Talisman of Preservation, and hey, we got to keep the Graves of the Dragons. Fantastic. And now we definitely earned the Graves of the Dragons after what's been happening. You can actually go into... Oh, this actually generates money. Alright, fine, go into High King's Tribute. I was going to, say, do the thing that gives us bonus movement range in case we need to pass through this, but frankly, it's fine. We're fine. Everything's fine. Nobody panic. Anyway, let's see who else still needs to move. I believe we should be right at the end of the list now. Reclaimer Burdrick was going to send you to help against the Flames of Asgore, against the Legion of Asgore, rather, and darn. I was hoping the list wouldn't have to be reset, but we're right at the end of it, so it's easy to find. Reclaimer Stronghold. You don't need to move. You're waiting for Reclaimer Burdrick. Reclaimer Skolson. You are stuck where you are. And we just have heroes now. Alright, Began Bogerson. You... Bogerson? I don't know. Go this... Wow. Okay, now you're going this way. And you're going this way. Jartha Bugman. Go this way. Garment Hammerfist gas. So I assume these guys are... wait, who are you? Svenner Cromson, you are supposed to... Oh, you're supposed to join these armies. Good. Go here. Belagurn of Zorn, you don't need to move. Hegenbor Brightaxe, you do. You're still traveling to join your army for ages now. Couldn't Hammerfist, you're fine, you're fine, you're fine, and you're fine, and that's it. Alrighty, I think there was at least one place where I was like, maybe we'll fight this, and then I promptly forgot where it was, so I think maybe we just end the turn, and then whoever decides to sally out and actually attack us, well, they'll get the chance to actually fight, and then those who don't, well, those who don't won't. Just double checking. Nowhere important that we were besieging where we could potentially fight. Oh wait, was it here? No. We have everything here. Everything important, including the stuff that we need to trade away. No, you are not besieging anything. You're waiting to heal. I'm just going to assume that we're fine then. Alright, skip. Building upgrade commandment available. Hello. Marches of Kuhan. Let's start upgrading you to tier 5, though we'll probably trade it really, really quickly, so it doesn't matter. Power of the guilds. Siege equipment available where? Why did I besiege this? Oh! I didn't build the siege equipment. Okay. That's not great. I'm glad I clicked that, because that would have been a horrible waste of a turn. Outpost upgrade available? No. Commandment available? Yes. Where is this? River Boro, Gualcazar. Oh, right, it's here where we're taking the SKAVEN territory, or have taken the SKAVEN territory now. Power of the Guilds, and leave it as it is. Commandment available in Temple of Hema. You can go from Power of the Guilds. Oh, no, actually. Oh, it's already dechaotified. Good. That's a word. End turn. Alright, they will indeed sally out, and this is a fight worth fighting. We've got elites, we've got 2.5 stacks against this army, which is incomplete and has no melee line. They've also got 4 warp bombs to their names, and basically a guarantee that they'll be able to reach us. So, this one looks pretty good. Most definitely yes to the fight. As soon as the quick save is completed, though we haven't been crashing, but still paranoid now, go. That we will, my friend, or at least I hope so. I mean, we've gotten plenty of vengeance under our belts as well to join our beards, but I don't know if you're going to survive this. It's definitely going to be a toughie with the 2.5-ish SKAVEN stacks that we've got, and on top of the fact that, well, this army is sort of more suited to fighting one army at a time. We don't really have anything that kills droves of enemies here. The organ guns are probably the closest to that, and admittedly that's not really what they're good at. Although if we find things like rat ogres or anything like that, they won't have nearly as much overkill damage that they have a problem with doing to things like SKAVEN slaves and such. Anyway, looks like the enemy is deployed over on this hill over on the left side of the map because they're waiting for their reinforcements, and we've essentially shadow deployed on the other hill on the other side of the map for the same exact purpose. Partly to shadow the enemy army, and partly because there's a, well, nice elevation, nice hill here, and this big old rock to protect our left flanks. The other deployment option would have been out here, but then the problem would have been that we wouldn't have been able to fire on the enemy right away, and we wouldn't have been able to vanguard deploy our bugmans, which we did here because they are close enough to our battle line to be able to retreat, even if they run slower than the SKAVEN do, should the enemy, well, when the enemy eventually charge them. Anyway, they may not need to see the enemy to fire at them, just firing over the kill where we know there are thousands of SKAVEN concentrated. And you gotta admit, the Bugman's Rangers do look pretty darn fantastic in those Clan Angrand colors there. The blue and the red works really nicely for them. Not so sure about the yellow lining of their capes, might be a little bit much, but still all good. Anyway, what do we got here? Finally, the enemy reinforcements arrive on the battlefield. We'll probably get a few more volleys off on whatever enemy to soften the targets as, well, as much as we can. And funnily enough, there is sometimes reason not to do this, because the first army is made up of primarily weaker units like SKAVEN slaves, whereas the reinforcements have a lot more elite troops. Sometimes it's strategically the better option to allow most of the enemy army to close the distance unharmed, because the limit of 40 units on the battle map means that if you can keep a few of these super elite units, like the Storm Vermin, like the Warp Fire Throwers, like the Hellpit Abomination and Doomwheel, off the battle map a little bit longer while you deal with the other half of their elites, these SKAVEN slaves actually play to your benefit. So there's the argument to be made for that. But I really wanted to Vanguard deploy these guys, so here we are. Alrighty, and we're still Vanguard deployed, still firing away. We have effectively infinite ammunition on these 4 units as long as we have the 2 Master Engineers hovering over them. Alas, without a Grudge Thrower, we don't really have any artillery to fire at that distance. These guys just don't have the range for it. But it's all good. They'll start firing away properly once the enemy gets annoyed enough to start closing, which they probably will shortly. On the bright side, these guys have done pretty good so far. 10,000 damage, 130 kills, 180, and 16,000, 150 and 15,000, 140 and 12,000. Even if they should do nothing else over the course of the battle, they've already done pretty darn solid. Lovely, and if we can actually annihilate a few of the more valuable units, like the Plague Monks and the Storm Vermin, that will turn the idea of, of not harming the SKAVEN slaves as the strategically better option on its head a little bit. So try to deal a little bit more damage to the elites. Alright, and it looks like, there we go, the Antkill has been kicked, the Rat Burrow has been, I don't know what you do to a Rat Burrow, exploded, and smoked out maybe, and whatever way we can kill the Iraqi, then would be great. Anyway. They're annoyed, they're moving towards us. It does mean that our artillery will begin to fire. Once again, a contest between the organ guns and the Hellblaster volley guns. And perhaps this might actually be one of the rare situations where the organ guns might have a superior... unit type against them than the Hellblasters do. The organ guns should have greater penetrative capabilities, Slaneshi giggle, than the Hellblasters, and thus if they're firing into blobs of units, and that still might be the case. That said, our Hellblasters do have their own thing to do. There are a lot of heroes, a lot of single entities running around. We can see the Hellblasters are targeting them and sniping them. This little Plague Priest up here, and down by about 30% of its HP, now down by about 80% of its HP. That's what the Hellblasters are for. Well, again, Hellblasters are a sort of master of all trades. Good at everything, but they are very good at sniping. Beautiful. That thing goes down. It looks like the enemy Lord isn't in much better shape either. And we are now retreating to our main line with our units of Bugmans. We just got to get behind our units of Thunderers with Grudge Rakers before the enemy gets in range, and everything will be good. And it looks like we'll just reach him, get a couple more volleys off as the enemy has stalled at least a little bit. And then we back off again. Lovely. Just wanted to make sure we get a couple more volleys because the hill might have made it difficult for some of the Grudge Rakers to fire. Alright, and the first of the enemy will close the distance. Oh, wow, this guy got left behind. And Death Runner is getting targeted. And we are hovering one of our gyrocopters overhead as well. They're acting as spotters because half of the enemy army, well, maybe not half, but a decent amount of the SKAVEN will always have stock on them. And we want to see what we're firing at. Alright, and the enemy is still on the approach. The bounce power is in our favor, actually, though not by much, and I would imagine that as more elite enemies make their way onto the battlefield, that's going to change a little bit. First of the enemy elites have closed the distance now. A unit of Death Runners closing or have closed with the Thunderers with Grudge Rakers, and we're just going to have to do our best to fight them. Interesting that okay, so here the Thunderers with Grudge Rakers aren't firing their ranged weapons in melee. I wonder why. There are situations where they do use them in melee, and like this, they only use their sidearm axes. I guess it doesn't really matter since the enemy will sacrifice those death runners by using a warp bomb and dishing about half of the HP in terms of damage to our Thunderers. Luckily for us, between the Master Rune of Oath and Steel and the Entrenchment, it looks like they took a lot less damage here. And let's see what they got in terms of spell. Well, actually, I'm not sure that the warp bomb counts as spell damage. It might just be straight up... I'm not sure. I guess it doesn't really matter. Anyway, the enemy is now overrunning our main lines, and this is when you can see that a lot of our range units have stopped firing. Why, you ask? It's because of the bug, the ever-annoying bug. So what we have to do to get them to continue firing, is have them target specific units. Even then, it's a little bit wonky. But now, let's see how long these guys haven't been firing. It's really weird. It's a really unfortunate bug, but, well, I'm just gonna have to overcome it. Fortunately, our Bugman's Rangers are pretty darn solid in melee, so we can always move them in to help fight. And most of them will probably be sent into melee, since we can't rely on our range units to actually fire away at this point. It's a bug that seems to have to do with the number of units on field, because it seems to only happen when there's a ton of enemies. I think it happens mostly against the SKAVEN, because, you know, like, SKAVEN saves have 200, 260, some silly number in there, 280 in a single blob. And yeah, obviously very bad for an army like this. These Quarrelers are just completely silent. And you really have to babysit them to try to tell them to fire, and even then, half the time they won't do it anyway. Luckily, it doesn't seem to affect artillery, so the artillery are still working, even if the missile infantry are not. If the bug also affected artillery, it would be really bad. Still, it does make this battle a lot more dangerous, as we now have to essentially fight the enemy in melee rather than in range, and it also allowed plenty of them to close the distance. Our Guildmaster is fighting 2 melee heroes, despite being a range lord, and just trying to bash them apart with his Gatling gun, and at the very least, dishing about half of the HP damage to the enemy warlord and sending the assassin scurrying away to look for easier prey, which I do find quite entertaining. Another warp bomb comes down, heavily damaging the SKAVEN there, and clipping at least one of our units. Luckily, that one was not well placed. Unluckily, I believe 2 or 3 of our range units have now broken, having been forced to fight in melee, both by the arrival of the enemies and the fact that the bug is preventing them from firing. Hellpit Abomination is attempting to close the distance, but as I said, the artillery continue to fire away, and thus it's unlikely that it's going to be able to run the gauntlet of the Hellblasters firing away at it. It's going to just close the distance as the last volleys come in from the Hellblasters. It does still have a 2000 HP to its name, and crashes into the line of Bugman's Rangers. But it looks like one more volley will actually not bring it down. Okay, 2 more volleys. That's fine. I'm going to have to back off a few more units and just try to get them to prevent the enemy from rushing our artillery, which are definitely needed here. Even the organ guns can try to fire away at the Hellpit. Ooh, and it does activate its healing, unfortunately. I see death globes being lobbed our way as well, and another healing activation. Damn you, Hellpit. All right, come on, bring it down. Really, another healing. Damn. This thing's getting lucky. Not so lucky to survive, however, as it topples at last. The bounce power is still about 50-50 as our units are continuing to fight in range. Looks like one of our units of organ guns have been severely damaged, or at the very least punted away from our artillery, or the crew, but they should survive. Enough of the crew remain to keep the unit very much alive. Now just trying to use our artillery to bring down whatever key targets remain, like these death globes, hopefully, and snipe any other of the enemies. The enemy is still having a rather tough time in melee, and the balance of power is maybe 55% in our favor. Looks like the enemy had given up on dealing with our Guildmaster in melee, but now returned to attempt to bring him down. And he's delivering a few nice blows to the enemy warlord, who runs away terrified. All right. How we doing now? And, ooh, another nice volley of death globes. Ooh, another nice warp bomb explosion. This is going to be very, very close. There's an assassin working in our back lines as well. And, the enemy's a little bit more forward than I remember them being. Might be a slight desync here. Still got plenty of units over on the left flank. Yeah, I remember I destroyed this warp fire unit with artillery before it ever reached us, so that's why nobody's targeting it, and probably why nobody's targeting the death globes here as well. And because of the bug, not only are they not targeting the enemy units, they're just sitting there. Oh, come on. And I feel like there shouldn't be enough enemy range units remaining for the bug to still affect our range units. At least the artillery is firing still, and there we go. Looks like with the artillery, they'll able to push the enemy army over the edge, and the battle will be ours. Just barely, but ours. And a fantastic fight at that. And as the enemy numbers dwindle, I do believe our quarrelers will start firing away again. And yeah, Story could really use those grudge settler units that he wants. They'll get delivered, maybe, possibly, by the end of the campaign. A few of the Plague Monks remaining, a few of the Quarrelers remaining in the fight, I believe. This unit should be destroyed, and there we go. A bit of a desync battle. You can usually tell by the fact that the victory shows as if it's the enemy's victory. But it happens. Like I said a couple of episodes ago, when we lost the beta that this campaign was originally recorded on, and the last episodes are most likely to, get some instability. It's not that bad, though. I mean, we've seen other campaigns where the instability causes massive desyncs, where the battles are completely different. This one, there wasn't too much, really. The main difference that I saw here was just at the end there, where instead of having the enemy elite weapons teams sniped, they seem to have survived. But otherwise, the enemy ran our lines, the bug still interfered, and we had to fight them off in melee, and it ended in our favor when the enemy shattered in the exact same way. So, not a big difference. Alrighty, there we go. A fight that was cool and annoying in equal measure, I think. I gotta say, there's some minor bugs and minor issues like pathing and settlements and stuff that will annoy you, but the range units not firing bug were suddenly half or your entire army when you're going for an all-range army refuses to do anything. That ain't good. That ain't good at all. But still, looks like we were able to hold the enemy off and fight them in melee. Great job to the Bugman's Rangers for Vanguard deploying and dishing out damage to the first little army and severely weakening them before they arrive. Of course, the organ guns and the Hellblasters were instrumental to our victory. This is interesting. The Hellblasters did even. We can see that they were slightly outdamaged by one of the organ guns, though they did twice as much damage in the second one. But in terms of gold value, damage dealt as gold value, they still did twice as much damage than the one that outdamaged them slightly. So the reason for that is they were sniping Lords, then sniping Hellpit Abomination, Doomwheel, whatever. Basically all the enemy elites and costly units, while the organ guns were, not. Though the organ guns were targeting things like Death Run, well, not really Death Runners, but on the Plague Monk Sensor Bearers, other such units, Storm Vermin. And it looks like they did rack up a decent amount of kills, and so did our units fighting in melee for about half the battle. And I guess there was there came a time, a critical mass, when suddenly the units just stopped firing and started fighting in melee, and then as soon as the enemy routed, they started firing again. Yeah, shaking my fist at the screen, even if you can't see it. Anyway, well, check replacements, we still managed to pull it off. It was still a heroic victory, and it was still a pretty cool fight, so. Alrighty, looks like the Orcs will sally out to attempt to attack Bugman's caravan. We got lots of Black Orcs and Biggins, we got Boar Boys, we got 2 Arachnaroks and a Savage Giant, which should be able to reach our battle line, which is pretty neat. Bugman, I would like you to have the Wailing Banner since you're always out front, and then I guess we'll give the charge bonus and Rampager standard to the Thane, who is kind of your bodyguard at the head of the column. Alright, I always enjoy fighting with this army, and I doubt that this particular battle will be any different. Go. Alrighty, here we go. Bugman's getting plenty of variety in terms of the enemy that his caravan army gets to fight, which I really appreciate. This time we've got orcs facing off against him. Let's see how we do. And admittedly, without a significant complement of range units, the orcs are probably not going to be as threatening to this army as others, because while they may want to get at those beer wagons, excuse me, I have hiccups, and I'm just trying to talk and not just loudly hiccup into the mic. But anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, the enemy doesn't have enough range units to take advantage of the fact that we're in a formation like this. It's very vulnerable to range, but is reasonably good against blobs of melee. Like these 3 units of black orcs that are charging towards us, but eating shot after shot from the Slayer pirates. And the stopping power and the slowdown aspect of the engineers and the war wagons is working pretty nicely on them. Speaking of the war wagons, they quickly tear through the enemy Arachnarok, because unlike giants, Arachnaroks have no missile resistance. Unless you get them that scrap upgrade that gives them 20%, but otherwise, too weak to survive these super high damage dealing war wagon snipers. Looks like the first of the black orcs are closing the distance. Bugman, his Thane, and the Slayer pirates will take the charge and begin their fight, while the other units at the rear of the column will continue firing in support. Really gotta be careful of those war wagon mortars. Man, it's funny. It always feels like the artillery will fire at when you want them to fire close to your units, they will refuse, and then when you really, really don't want them, they will, use any opportunity to do so and kill half your own units with inaccurate mortar fire. Alright, it looks like the trolls and some of the enemy boar boys have started to reach the rear of the column. Fortunately, all the beer wagons are still protected. And we are dishing out pretty heavy damage to the enemy big boys. Plus, we've got our war wagons retargeting, and they're sniping apart those trolls with a little bit of help from the gyrocopters and engineers floating overhead. And Giant is going to be the next target after the trolls are gone, but not as high of a priority because these guys have insane amounts of defenses on them. Against range, at least. 40% missile, 10% physical, and 10% ward, and I'm pretty sure that missile resistance is 10% brought down by the ward breaker trait. Alrighty, and the wagons are surrounded. Ooh, looks like at least a couple of the black orcs have reached the leading units of war wagons, but the enemy's monstrous units and boar boys have failed to do anything to the Bugman's Rangers over in the back line. The bounce power has shifted to about 85% in our favor. No desyncs in this battle. By the looks of it, everything's happening exactly as it should. It's probably specific to certain units and certain abilities, which just tends to be the case. It's those units and abilities that probably have modifications over between the patches or hotfixes. So looking good. Alright, and it looks like with that, the Giant will topple, taking a couple of last hits to the back from the war wagons, and the caravan is safe once more. Did take a bit of damage to the leading unit of Slayer Pirates, who lost 15 of their troops and 50% of their HP, but they'll recover to like 80%. And the rest of our units are just fine. Beautiful. The caravan army wins again. It's such a fun army, you gotta admit. I might recreate this army in a slightly different form for the Empire campaign. It's just too fun, and I want to see its effectiveness in those types of with those types of units or Imperial units as well. Maybe some slight differences, like have a few Outriders or something. I'll think about it. Anyway. Time to move. The enemy runs, and at least the Slayer Pirates can continue gunning them down. They'd obviously be a little bit better at it if they didn't have to be slow together with the slower elements of this particular force, like, Bugman himself and the Thane. They could just run down. The war wagons have 98 speed, and the Slayer Pirates have 74 speed. They are faster than most cavalry in the game that isn't light cavalry. It's pretty intense. You gotta love it, though. I wonder, huh. If we could get this army, the defeat trait from Nakari, and the defeat trait from Trudge Craventail, I wonder if we'd be able to reach 100 speed on Slayer Pirates. It's fantastic. Anyway, the enemy army is done. We're gonna run them down. Man, I love the stupid army. Every time it fights, I enjoy it so much, and the war wagons are certainly paying for themselves. The one at the lead at the front of the column getting 49,000 damage and 6,300 damage delta's gold value, which is absolutely huge, vastly outdoing everybody else. It sniped the enemy Arachnaroks, it sniped trolls, it sniped enemy lords and heroes. That's what the war wagons are fantastic for, and we buffed them up quite a bit, which is nice to see as well. We don't even need red line buffs for them to be great. And the mortar war wagons at the back of the column and did pretty darn well as well. And I love it. Absolutely love it. And great job to the Sartosan Sootbeards and the Rum Runners with the leading sort of Slayer Pirates there taking the brunt of the damage, but also doing a fair bit as well. Good job. Hey, they will indeed sally out to attack Ungrim Iron Fist. Well, we gave them a chance, and since they're taking it, we will honor them by, you know, hacking them to bits instead of auto-resolving.
On my oath, they die.
Alright, here we go. Decently big pile of Corsairs of Spite for Ungrim to wet his axe blades on. Should be pretty fun. Here we go. We're going to head directly at the enemy in more or less one big formation. I like to change up the formation of this particular army. Sometimes we Vanguard deploy all the Doomseekers out front. Sometimes we separate everybody sort of across the map in a big ol' line. Sometimes we travel in a sort of pseudo little dwarf box around Ungrim and his personal Everguard, and just to see how they perform with different formation types. Anyway, regardless of the formation types, the Doomseekers always like to lead the charge. We've got to get them into the melee as fast as we can, because it's going to take a while for them to charge up their spin to wins, and that's the biggest reason to have them Vanguard deployed, and just because the longer they spend in the melee, the faster they'll be able to activate that ability. Ooh, Black Dragon comes on in, gets a nice big old Black Dragon breath on one of our units of Doomseekers, taking about half of their HP, which is a fairly decent bit. Black Arc support starts to come down over in the background and dropping on the blobbiest portions of Slayers that the AI could find, while our Doomseekers are finally joined by Ungrim himself, the Everguard, and the Giant Slayers, who begin their hunting for enemy larger units, meaning Giant Slayers will be going after these Cold One Dread Knights. And of course, the enemy Black Dragon, the enemy Hydra, that sort of deal. And it looks like they're hacking them apart with gusto as the Cold One Dread Knights rapidly lose 80% of their HP. Mr. Snorri Nosebiter, I believe. I think. Nope, it's actually Joseph Candoom. Well, it's not Snorri with all of his anti-large bonuses, but it looks like Joseph has been able to bring the Hydra down, and just as well, with a little bit of help from the other Giant Slayers. The Slayers army generally has a habit of fighting these battles rather quickly, as it is a super high damage dealing army. So just like that, the battle is pretty much over. The bounce power is at about 90% in our favor, whether it be Executioner or whether it be Blackguard of Nagaron, the enemy get hacked apart. We only just get enough time to activate our spin to wins, but it looks like we didn't need them. We'll win regardless of the spinning. Well, we'll do plenty of spinning anyway, just not the ability spinning. There we go. Ah, you gotta love those animations from the Doomseekers. They're so fun. Now look at them run around. They are faster than the elves with 66 move speed compared to 39 of the Bleak Swords. Damn, we got a lot of speed buffs on these guys too. We'll chase them down a little bit just for fun, and the battle's ours. Alrighty, there we go. Pretty solid fight. Took a fair bit of damage on a few units, including the Doomseekers that were on the right flank there. Oh, wow. 57,000 damage on these guys. Very, very nice. Ungrim and the single entities are obviously hunting lords and heroes, so their damage was comparatively small, though Gargrim still managed to do good old infantry mincing. The Honor Seekers got 25k, Haskell's Finest and Craven Slayers 15k apiece, though they were supporting the backline, and let's see... Oh, 20k on the Blue Tattoo group. Solid work from the Giant Slayers, who were obviously, again, rock, paper, scissorsing and hunting the big boys. And, well, generally speaking, this army does a lot of that sort of thing. Anyway, a nice fight. The SKAVEN may have had the ability to sabotage our range units in the fight against them, but, well, pretty hard to sabotage a Slayer's axe, I'd wager. Alrighty, there we go. Looks like no further attacks, though there were some pretty good ones. Also, just coming out of that Ungrim fight, I just realized that because that place, the Ward of Storm, is a magical forest, this place probably didn't have walls, did it? Yeah, I could have just straight up attacked instead of waiting, though. I wonder if we had attacked with a... No, they wouldn't have sailed away. Yeah, okay, well, I just wasted a turn there, but, well, that's life. Sometimes you waste a turn and, more Grimtides, and you got that, you got that plague, did you? Oh, well. Somebody was bound to get a plague, and, well, it looks like... Let me just see here. Dwarven Tattooist, Brewmaster... Okay. Daughter of Valea, Stonemason, Talisman of Preservation, Stonemason... That's enough of that. Alright, province secured, Badlands Coast, Gold Tooth something, Western provinces, enemy killed in battle, enemy killed in... Okay, there's gonna be a lot of these, another plague. Until the Nurglights are gone, that's just going to be a fact of life, I guess. Ready for duty, Bait is back, and, ooh, the last tech, waterproof packaging, will soon be complete. We're also up to 2.5 million gold per turn, and, yeah, that's pretty good. We got a spare 13 mil in the bank, which is pretty darn solid as well. Anyway, before I forget, since these guys didn't sally out, decided to be cowards about this, and gave us the plague while we were at it, we're just going to auto-resolve them to death. They are not worthy of our attention. And there we go. Anyway, folks, with that, we're out of time, and war coordination target lost. Did we just kill them? Oh, no, it's because we told them to occupy this, and then they, didn't. I'm... hoping that we can actually transfer territory to them. Can we give you Volkaz Roost? We can. Okay, good. What about this newly acquired place? The Great Title of Mork? We can. Okay, good. I was worried that the river border wouldn't allow us to transfer it in the same way that we have the Mortis River Delta and the Scalded Delta here. I guess you can't trade deltas. Go figure. Alrighty, well, anyway, with that, folks, we're out of time. I'm going to call the episode here next time. Kugath is very much on the way out. I don't know whether we'll completely wipe him out, but we're close to it with the sheer number of armies down here, so it's a distinct possibility. And I'm going to start working on Mr. Wulfric over on the over on this side of the map. Keep going after Pestilence and Eshin, though they're very much out too. And by the looks of it, we will complete the Northern Empire the next episode, which will allow us to sail out and move north. Gotta go at least one to Albion. I believe we have a date with some Dark Elves here. It's not super necessary, and I'll see whether we actually bother to do it, because it'll be a long time traveling there, but we might be able to speed up as we've started to reach borders in a lot of areas, which might mean a little bit less having to move in terms of the move admin. Anyway, more Dowie to come, so stay tuned. Don't forget to leave those likes and comments below, especially... Whoa. Why is this? What is this? Oh, I deleted the building. Well, I'm dumb. Oh well, not that it's a big deal because this faction is dead anyway. Anyway, more factions dead next time. All glory to the algorithm, and thanks for watching.